Hello everyone, and welcome back to Game Break, the full coverage writer's presentation where we take a look at the plot and story behind some of our favorite video games. Will here, returning once again to the underwater streets of Rapture as we continue Delta's journey in BioShock 2. When we last left off, we had finally made our way out of Ryan Amusements and into Pauper's Drop, only to become entrapped by its local resident leader, Grace Holloway. A young woman, or perhaps not a young woman, but a woman who is fully invested in the teachings of Dr. Sophia Lamb and doesn't like us very much. Or at least she didn't seem to like us very much when we pulled into the station. She locked the entire section down and told everyone to kill us. Not really the best first impressions, but perhaps with time we can change her mind. Or perhaps we'll just kill her like everyone else. Let's proceed to find out. Come visit Dr. Lamb's therapy office. How nice. Some advertising from Dr. Sophia Lamb. Dr. Lamb, psychiatrist. Got the rapture blues? Dissatisfied? Low on pep? Worried about money? Don't know where to turn? Call at Dr. Lamb's offices. Seems she was rather well known down here in Pauper's Drop. I suppose that shouldn't be surprising. She's even got advertisements for her book here. But then again, if this was one of the low slum areas of Rapture, then this would be prime real estate for her to be able to help out, quote-unquote help out, sad and depressed people. Because these are the people that were low on cash and, as you can see here, willing to do anything for money. Which means she had a lot of people to work with and convert. Speaking of convert, you're labeled as a defiler, which more and more seems to make her plans feel like a religious cult. You know things are bad when the place is falling apart like this. They even have a brace just to hold the ceiling up. And it doesn't look like it's working very well. Talented, popular, energetic, smart. Take our unique aptitude test to find out just how special you are. Test your DNA in our state-of-the-art facility. Dr. Sophia Lamb. I'm so she wasn't up to anything on the side. Alrighty then. Speaking of religious cults, we have a group of splicers here who seem to be worshipping the Little Sisters. Nice butterflies. If this isn't creepy, I don't know what is. We have definitely gone into creepy cult territory. Definitely creepy cult territory. These splicers are 100% committed to Sophia Lamb's teachings, and no one will stop them. Butterfly was on her mask even. That butterfly is everywhere. See, those splicers were... It looks like they were bringing other dead splicers here so that the Little Sisters could harvest them for Adam. So, in turn, Dr. Sophia Lamb could use the Adam to achieve her plan of paradise. Rather extreme steps, but... Oh my. Someone turn the lights on.
I remember you, monster. You stole Eleanor from me. Twisted that baby girl into a thing so sick it can't even die. And now you come swanning into my neighborhood looking for me. Wrong turn, Tin Daddy. When we hang you from a street light and you choking out your last, I want you to remember my face.
Well, she's a right neighborly one. I'm sure we'll get along just fine. Yeah, Grace Holloway does not like us, but for reasons I personally didn't expect. She blames us for little Eleanor being turned into a little sister, which honestly doesn't make any sense to me at all. The big daddies weren't responsible for turning little girls into little sisters, and it seemed like we were paired with her after the fact from what it seemed like earlier in the game. Either Grace has been told lies or just believes that we took little Eleanor and had her turned into a little sister, or something else is going on, and this is all just clues at some twist that will inevitably... I'm expecting a twist to inevitably happen anyway. It's just a matter of what that twist is. I don't want to presume anything too much, just in case we spoil anything, but it would be interesting to think that it might be our fault that Eleanor became a little sister. Really don't know. I'm really intrigued to find out, though. Well, hello there, little one. And hello there, Big Daddy. This is something I have to get used to. The fact that the Big Daddies who are escorting little sisters will not attack on sight. It's the exact opposite of how it was in BioShock 1, where if a little sister saw you, that was it. That Big Daddy was coming after you. Here, these little sisters, it's like, oh, just another Big Daddy, whatever. And then they completely leave you alone. Until you do something dumb. Like walk a little too close. And even then, it looks like that Big Daddy's just saying, hey, back off there. This is my little sister. You find your own. And of course, we need that little sister for Adam, so... Sorry, Big Daddy, you have to die. And good night, Big Daddy.
Daddy, are you taking me home too?
They recover pretty quick, too. She goes from crying her eyes out to just like, oh, you're my Big Daddy now. I'm with you. Let's go off to find some Adam. Because the world revolves around Adam. At least it certainly does down here in Rapture. It is a serious... I don't know if we want to go as far to say it's a MacGuffin, but... it's a major plot point of both the gameplay and the story.
Come on, Daddy. It's close.
Closer than I ever thought. We're conveniently right next to a source of Adam. In fact, the other Big Daddy died right on top of him, which is a little depressing. Oops.
Adam, Daddy. Here. And just remember, Mom.
Family, that monster has taken another of our babies for his own. Tin Daddy is hollow like a jail cell that needs filling, and he will never let her go unless you hunt him down.
She's, got quite a way with words, I will say that, but she really does not like us, and has this real obsession with us being the one to take little girls away. I suppose if I was harvesting them, I'd see her point, but since I'm freeing them and saving them, I wonder if Sophia Lamb has been lying too. poor Grace Holloway at all. I get the feeling it's possible that Sophia Lamb was lying to a lot of people. But sometimes I suppose it's just what you have to do to start a crazy cult.
Sandals all done now. I'm always safe with Daddy.
Those little sisters are almost adorable, if they weren't so bloody creepy.
Religious rites, Doctor? You're free to kneel before whatever tribal fetish you favor in the comfort of your own home. But in Rapture, liberty is our only law. A man's only duty is to himself. To imply otherwise, therefore, is criminal.
Ask yourself, Andrew, what is your great chain of progress but a faith? The chain is a symbol for an irrational force guiding us towards ascension. No less mystic than the crucifixes you seize and burn.
So, not all that surprisingly, Andrew Ryan wasn't really much of a fan of religion either. Apparently it was illegal to worship anything but yourself down here in Rapture, which was kind of Sophia Lamb's point. Apparently if you tried to worship any religion down here, you got in a little bit of trouble.
Daddy?
And as Sophia Lamb pointed out, that great chain of progress kind of feels like a religion. Whole believing in, yeah, you're working for the self for the greater benefit of overall progress, and when everyone works to better themselves, as a whole things get better, and everything will turn out great for everyone in the end. She has a point on that one. Can't really argue with her there. It's no surprise she was able to pretty much whip people up in a religious frenzy on her side against Andrew Ryan. Though she was able to really get people on her side this much, this early on when Rapture was in its heyday, why didn't we hear anything about it in BioShock 1? I mean, the obvious understanding is when they were making the first game, they just didn't have any of the plot points for BioShock 2 even in consideration. Usually when you're making a part 1 to a video game, you don't think about what's going to happen in part 2. You just hope part 1 will be successful. I suppose it'll be left up to us to fill in the gaps as to why Sophia Lamb and her cult following were non-existent in BioShock 1, when Jack was running around causing all kinds of troubles and shenanigans. Probably just say, like, oh, he didn't go to that part of Rapture, or perhaps she was still hiding out, and in the 8 or so years since then is when she's come up and resurfaced, and is now trying to do her ploy, which is why we were woken up. Just another mystery that hopefully will be solved soon. You are not alone. Sophia Lamb, M.D. You can't tell me that doesn't have kind of a religious connotation behind it, especially with such a close-up of her eyes. She really is always watching. Oh, hey, big guy. You wanna hang out? Oh, yeah. You wanna oh my. Isn't he a friendly sort? Admit, I was definitely worried when I first saw one of those guys, possibly this very same guy, over outside the train, but this guy's more sophisticated than I was expecting. He reminds me a lot of Mr. Hyde from the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie that came out, I don't even know how long ago, several years ago now. The one with Sean Connery in it. All big and brutish and intimidating looking, and yet rather sophisticated, and is just as likely to have a cup of tea with you as smash your face in. I kinda like that unexpected twist. Of course, you set someone on fire, they're gonna scream like a banshee no matter what. Rest in peace, Prentice Mill. Certainly seemed to be an important person down here in Pauper's Drop.
This is it. It's over. I built this railroad from nothing. Played by Mr. Ryan's rules. But then he asks me to sink my own cash reserves into the banks to give Rapture some breathing room. And now Austin goddamn Bathysphere wants to buy me out. Decommission the entire rail. I have no family. And no time for friends. I am the Atlantic Express. And this is the end of the line.
Just another example of the fallacy that is Rapture under Andrew Ryan. Prentice Mill brought down to create the massive and fantastic underwater tram network just to connect all the different parts of the cities. And as soon as something better comes out, he's left behind, forced to just hope to rely on his savings that he has from what he had left over from the success of the tram, while bathyspheres became more prevalent. And then, just when he thought he could at least live in retirement, as soon as Rapture starts showing some financial troubles, Andrew Ryan calls on him to take all that money that he has left and put it into Rapture just so the city can keep going. The city that doesn't even need him anymore. And then, of course, the owners of the Bathysphere Company are like, hey, we'll buy you out and destroy your legacy in the process. Not exactly good times.
What do they expect? You keep enough drug stash in this clinic to splice up a rhinoceros. Of course every poor soul in the drop's gonna start beating down your door. It's my job to think up a new key code to keep them out. Seems like every other day now. Nuts. I'll mull it over for a while at the Fishbowl Diner.
I do like when games give you little backstory, plot-relevant reasons to go find hidden key codes everywhere. The whole point of that recording is to just tell me that, or the player, that they can go over to the diner to get the key code to the clinic here. But it had a little bit of a backstory, plot-relevant stuff to it, in saying that they needed the key code on the diner just to keep people who are addicted to splicing out. That's good minor detail storytelling that should be kept in mind when designing things like this. Even if you don't include it, it's important to at least keep in mind.
Here's the angel.
The monster has taken another of our children, family. He would turn her from us just as he did to Eleanor. Show this thing what befalls the boogeyman when he steps into our garden.
She is really set on believing that we took Eleanor and turned her into a little sister. I can't wait to actually meet Grace Holloway in person to see what she has to say and learn why she believes this and if it's true or not. If it really happened that way and we as Delta just don't remember, or if she, like everyone else down here, is just brainwashed into being a religious fanatic under Sophia Lamb's wing, all in worship of this great family, in seeking to join paradise. Story got a lot deeper, a lot faster, I will say that. Very invested in it at this point. And that little ta-da was just kind of adorable. See?
Thank you.
We're not turning little sisters into monsters. We're saving them from that horrible fate and turning them into normal girls. If only Grace could see us do that. But no. She has to think we're a horrible tin abomination and want to kill us and hang us from a streetlight. It's never easy. But then again, if it was easy, it wouldn't be fun. What do you see ahead? Dr. Lamb can help you plan for the future. She was certainly sticking her fingers into a lot of pies down here. It's no surprise she got such a large following. Okay, so now we have to get into this diner to get that security code, but the door is very locked. And I admit, when I was playing, I thought these were open windows. Now I realize that they're just clean windows. I'm so used to everything in Rapture being so dirty and filthy that when I see a window that's clean, I just assume it's not there. And that's why I was doofully jumping into windows. Oops. Perhaps there's a way in on the roof. There must be some way in. Maybe we can drill through here. It's already collapsing. No, that doesn't seem to work. Come on, I can't even drill through the roof. How the hell do I get in here? That did not sound safe. This place sounds like it's about to collapse right around me at this any moment. No wonder the people here were miserable.
My folks lived in the St. Louis Hooverville in 32, and the drop is worse by a mile. Nobody's supposed to live down here. City pissing on us. Never dry. Ryan doesn't care, and Fontaine's a damn crook. But Dr. Lamb cares. We're still people to her. She's offering free mental counseling on Sundays. When I go, I get the feeling she's got a plan for Rapture. And for me.
Now that's saying something. For anyone who's not familiar with what the Hoovervilles were back in American history, I recommend doing at least a brief lookup on the horrible conditions those people had to live in. But to say that Pauper's drop is worse is saying a lot. It's not surprising that Sophia Lamb was able to recruit so many people down here, especially given the fact that Andrew Ryan just let this place fall apart, and of course all Fontaine cared about was money. We all knew that. But Sophia Lamb, to the people, it felt like she cared about them. And presumably she does. So it's not surprising she got such a large following. Oh, and if you're wondering what I'm doing with this fuel canister, my plan here was to use it to try and blow open the door. I think I missed. What good is this damn drill if it can't drill some 2x4s off a damn door? How the hell do I get in here? Oh. Well, alright, let's find that door code. And there's our door code. As well as another nice little present. Hello there. Uh-oh. Oh sure, they can get through the ceiling. And what is it with the makers of the BioShock series with using shotguns as ambush bait? They did the same thing in BioShock 1, only this one was a little more believable. For those who didn't see the video in BioShock 1, when the shotgun first appeared, it was in the middle of a dark room with a spotlight on it, and as soon as you grabbed it, the lights went out and Splice was attacked. At least this one was just sitting near a corpse, so it wasn't obvious ambush bait.
Eleanor's grown now, baby snatcher. Even after what you did to her, Dr. Lamb found a way to shape that girl into something perfect, something holy. She's a daughter to us all. Nobody in Rapture will shelter you now.
Well then.
Grace has got the wrong idea. You're not responsible for turning Eleanor into a little sister. Big daddies are just slaves, and you only recently broke free.
See, Sinclair's on our side, but he only makes this whole thing more confusing. Sinclair confirms that, big daddies don't make little sisters, they just protect little sisters. But Grace Holloway insists that we're responsible for turning Eleanor into a little sister. I'm actually a little confused about the timeline now, and I'm hoping that it'll be cleared up eventually, sooner rather than later. But I really want to know why Grace believes this and what actually happened. Because, I don't fully trust Sinclair either. I have no reason to distrust him, but the recordings we heard about him make him seem like he would do or say anything to keep the right people on his side. So at this point, I have been wondering if I really have been doing this part a little out of order, since I have a habit of ignoring objective goals when given the chance to explore, but since we have the key code, let's put it in and see what's in here. If they let us progress this far, that means there should be nothing game-breaking here. Let me explore for a reason, right? Shoot on sight. And some interesting background music kicked in here, too. This was a little spooky, I'm not gonna lie. I think mostly because the game mostly doesn't have background music anywhere else in the game unless you're in a fight or a cutscene or something. Otherwise it's just ambient noise or any music is coming from like a radio. Oh, hi. But here there's just random background music from no source. Curious decision on the game developer's part. And then like that, it's gone. Very curious decision on the game developer's part. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. I want to thank you all for joining me on this adventure. As always, feel free to continue the conversation below in the comments. Just try to keep it spoiler-free. If you enjoyed the video, give that like button a push. And feel free to subscribe to our channel for more great videos from us at Full Coverage Writers. And until next time, get out there, be creative, and be awesome.